How are you doing? Hey,
Hello,
Nico,
Pierre.
how was New York?
New York was awesome, as usual. Special year because of the crowds coming back. I think that was the key after the tough times that we've been living, to have the crowd there and hear the roars and see the players inspired by the crowds, and the matches were just what we needed. It was a pretty good remedy for those 2 weeks, and it was great to see New York alive again.
Okay, let's start right off. Noel's disappointment, the final. What did you think about the men's finals, and what's your insight on that?
Well, you're always hoping for a superb match like we've had, always or almost always in tennis, with the quality that we're seeing nowadays. So yes, in a way, it was a bit of a disappointment because the level of tennis was not what they have us used to. You have to feel for Novak, who's done something extraordinary and out of the normal. You saw who turned out. The stadium was full match after match because we were witnessing history. So I feel bad for him because he couldn't perform when he needed to, and to fall one short of the 28 matches, it's kind of hard to stomach. You could read it in his face. So emotionally, he was spent. You can see it, how his face was contorted. But it's great. I'm grateful for what he's given us, what he's given tennis. So you cannot do anything but applaud his performance. And Medvedev, I mean, he's been close a couple of times, and he deserved it. He deserved it all the way. He played great the 2 weeks, and I think it was a majestic performance in the finals. To beat Djokovic in straight sets in a major, it's just a great accomplishment. So I'm very, very happy for Medvedev.
What I found interesting was we're talking about two guys that have not always been the most popular in New York. And to have them in the finals, and for them to appreciate Medvedev's quality and so forth, and to finally appreciate Noel, who is the greatest of all times in my opinion, and what Daniel said at the end of the match. So it was great for Djokovic to finally get the recognition, and you could see it really touched him.
Oh yes. That changeover before the last game, he really let it go. He was bawling, and understandable. The flow of emotions he's had, the whole year, basically the last 12, 13 years since he won Australia in 2008. I think it was his first. He's won, about a little less than half of the majors that have been played, and to have that commitment for such a long time, to catch up to Rafa and Nolan in terms of number of majors won, but not emotionally, because they were there before him and they have such a huge following, and they're such a fantastic human beings. It's just has been very, has taken its toll on him. It eats out at him, and to have his name finally mentioned in the same breath, it must be, quite a great feeling for him, and he deserves it. He's awesome, in his own way. He's different, but he's, what he has achieved is great, and to have the crowd recognize it, I think it was about damn time.
Well, this is coming. Canada. I mean, oh my God, the whole country has fallen in love with Miss Fernandez. What do you think about her performance, and what was she like? I mean, like, New York just loved her.
Yeah, what a bundle of energy that little girl is. She's a firecracker and deserves everything she achieves. She's worked very hard. The way she beat, three greats back to back, and the way she faced that final against a player that was just playing lights out the whole week from the qualifying. But what Lila did, the way she conducted herself in the wins, the way she played, how fast she has risen in the rankings, and just to be able to perform at that level consistently for a couple of weeks in front of that tough crowd, knowing where she comes from, how her struggles have shaped her. It's just been fascinating. It's a breath of fresh air, and you just smile when you talk about that women's final and when you think of them individually.
Well, my last question is Felix. I mean, Felix is a star in many ways. I mean, the way he is on court, mentally he is strong. You see him calm. He's very proper. He's involved with the ATP. He's recognized by everybody that's been in touch with him and seen him as somebody very special. His progression has been different. What do you get from his performance? And really, can you comment on the fact that he could have won at Wimbledon? He could have won here at the US Open. He's been in the finals of 8 ATP. So what's the next step?
Well, I think it's great what he has achieved, and I love where he is. There are paths and paths. You just have to be patient and not put any more burdens on a guy that just got to his first major semifinals. I think it's awesome what he's doing. Got to the quarters of Wimbledon, got to the semis of US Open, and ran into a buzzsaw, the eventual champion. So I think it's great. I think you're overreacting, big time in Canada. The guy is great. He's doing the job. He's hiring the right people, surrounding himself with the best people possible, and he keeps getting better and better. He's improved incredibly. He's improved his serve. He served out of his mind the whole week. The forehand was there most of the time. I think he's working hard on that. So, hey, it's a luxury to have a player like him as an example inside and outside the court. The guy is just a prince. He's got it together. So I don't think you have to worry about him.
Well, that's great. The one thing I did notice, which I found interesting, was that more and more he's going outside the court to hit his forehand inside out, even on second serve return on the ad side, where he goes around, which kind of reminds me of another player from Spain that used to go the same thing on the other side. So maybe Uncle Nadal is doing his work, and they're developing a different type of tactics for him a little bit more. Did you notice that?
I think so. I think the forehand, it's the premier shot off the ground, no matter how good your backhand is. We've seen some people run around to hit backhands, and that lefty you're mentioning has two forehands, basically, because he's a righty. So Felix, I think he's doing the right thing. He's giving the forehand a little more responsibility. That way he gets a little more confident, and he's not going to miss. He's not going to make those unforced errors as much. And little by little, he's going to build on that confidence to make it the weapon that he needs it to be in order to have, that complete game. I feel he's getting better at the net. He still makes some errors in terms of the field game, sometimes abuses with the drop shot, but it's all part of the growing process. But I agree with you. He's running around that forehand and trying to hit it. And I think he's doing a good job at it. As great an athlete as he is, he's a big boy. He's gotten a lot more muscle in the last couple of years. He moves very well, and he can afford to do that and still cover the right corner.
Well, Nico, thank you very much, as always, for giving us your insight. I just want to finish with one comment. I remember once upon a time, I talked some fella from Uruguay to try to move to Canada, and even went through the process of going through Canada. So that fella won 3 out of the 4 junior Grand Slam, but he suddenly found it too cold in Canada. But he must still feel some pride with our Canadian success.
Oh, totally. I've followed it. I'm a big fan of Canada and its people and its ways. In a corner of my heart, I always wondered what it would have been. But life is like that. You can't live looking at the rear view mirror, because then you don't see what's in front of you. But definitely, I've followed your tennis passion and dedication and organization with mistakes and with good things as well. And I couldn't be happier for you guys. You know, it's just a great time to be a tennis fan in Canada. You deserve everything you have gotten, and maybe, you know, this was a bit unexpected. You know, you expected probably Dennis or Felix or Milos to win a slam, and here you are after Jeannie and the great year that she had and trying to come back with Lila when she won the junior Roland Garros. You know, we never knew that her progression was going to be this quick or this important, and that was a welcome surprise. I loved it every way, and I'm very happy for you guys. Hey, I even get to talk to my friends from Canada time and again. Then.
Thank you so much, Nicolas. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Be well,
Bye.
everybody. Take care.